The Sans Bois Mountains of southeastern Oklahoma are a landscape of steep sandstone ridges and dense oak pine forest. It is isolated terrain where a person can vanish within minutes of leaving a trail. On October 17, 2009, two hunters on dirt bikes found a pickup truck parked in the middle of a dirt road. It was locked, and judging by the dust, it had been sitting there for several days. Inside, investigators found the items a family usually keeps close: cell phones, a GPS unit, and the parents' wallets. There was a starving dog and $32,000 in cash hidden under the driver's seat. The owners, Bobby Jamison, his wife Sherilyn, and their 6-year-old daughter Madyson, were nowhere to be found. 4 years passed before the search ended. In November 2013, hunters walking through the Smokestack Hollow area discovered 3 skeletons in a remote patch of woods, precisely 3 miles from where the truck had been abandoned. The remains were arranged in a specific, jarring pattern. All 3 were laid out side by side, face down in the dirt. Because the medical examiner could not determine a cause of death, the only way to understand what happened is to reconstruct the timeline recorded on the family's own devices. That reconstruction begins with home surveillance footage captured on the morning the family left for the mountains. The video shows Bobby and Sherilyn making several silent trips between their house and their vehicle. They move with a mechanical, repetitive rhythm, methodically loading the truck while seemingly oblivious to one another's presence. This region of Oklahoma is a known corridor for methamphetamine production, and Bobby had recently reported a local lab to the police. When investigators saw the couple's gaunt appearance and that $32,000 in the truck, they focused on a drug deal gone wrong. Other suspects emerged from the family's personal life. Bobby had recently filed a protective order against his father, who he claimed had threatened the family. There was also a former handyman Sherilyn had recently forced off the property at gunpoint after he allegedly made racist remarks about her heritage. However, a robbery or a cartel hit struggles to explain why $32,000 remained untouched in the vehicle. Professional killers rarely overlook a bag of cash, and they don't typically take the time to lock a family dog safely inside a truck before leaving. As the external theories faltered, the investigation turned inward towards the family's mental state. Both Bobby and Sherilyn had told their pastor they were engaged in spiritual warfare, claiming their home was inhabited by spirits. Bobby's paranoia had reached a point where he asked if the pastor knew where to purchase special bullets to shoot the entities he believed were living on his roof. Inside the house, police found a satanic Bible. On a storage container outside, Sherilyn had painted a message warning that witches did not like it when their cats were killed. There was also evidence of severe domestic strain. Investigators found an 11-page letter Sherilyn had written to Bobby, listing everything she hated about him and their life together. This suggests a murder-suicide triggered by a shared psychotic break. In this scenario, Sherilyn would have used her .22 caliber pistol to kill her family before taking her own life, but that pistol was never found with the bodies. If a suicide occurred, the weapon would have remained at the site where the family died. Its absence suggests a final shooter who left the scene and took the gun with them. The last digital record of the family's life is a single photograph of Madyson recovered from a cell phone left in the truck. Madyson stands in a defensive posture, arms crossed tightly over her chest. Her expression shows visible distress, a stark contrast to typical family photos. This has led to 2 final possibilities: that the family was marched into the woods by a third party, or that they were fleeing a shared hallucination and ran 3 miles into the brush to escape it. They left their truck in sub-freezing temperatures, without their jackets, car keys, or phones. They locked the dog inside and walked 3 miles into a rugged wilderness they didn't know. These are the actions of people either under extreme duress or completely detached from reality. Every piece of evidence actively contradicts a standard explanation. $32,000 in the truck makes robbery improbable. The missing .22 pistol removes a murder-suicide, and leaving survival supplies behind in a locked truck suggests they didn't simply get lost. This creates a unique contradiction, a scene that appears to be a kidnapping, yet was preceded by a family methodically packing their truck in a trance. We are left with 3 bodies found face down in the dirt: a massive sum of money, and disturbing clues that refuse to form a coherent story. The Jamison family left the world in a state of terror, and the facts they left behind ensure we will never know why.